Let's get it.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Bryan with DD214 Transport. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. It is Wednesday night and we are back live tonight. And we're going to be talking about what to look for when you are in the market for a used trailer. The reason I thought that this would be a really good topic is because over the past week or so, I've had several people reach out to me wondering if I had any leads on used trailers. And I started telling every one of them, this is what you got to look for. This is what you got to be careful with. This is what you got to be thinking about. So, all right, that's our topic for tonight. Now, before we get started down the rabbit hole, we are going to thank our veterans and first responders and for all they do and all they continue to do for this country. Also, guys, try to remember out in the Midwest, out in Iowa, Kansas, where these places are being destroyed by tornadic weather. There's a lot of people in harm's way. So your thoughts and prayers out there would be greatly appreciated. Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital are our charities of choice. If you would like to work with me direct, please go to the Patreon site there, sign up for a membership, and we will absolutely send you my personal cell number and work with you hand in hand to get you up and rolling, or to help you out or to advise or whatever you need. But we'll work with you directly. Now, at the end of the year, all the money that's collected there, does it go to me? No. It gets matched by us, and we distribute it to these two charities. All right, so thank you for helping us help them. Now, trailer service is open. We've been busy. Within 75 air miles of Charlotte, that's 90 road miles. If you get or have a problem in that area, we can help you. So let me know. Buying a used trailer, what to look for. That's tonight's topic. That's what we're going to get into here in a minute. So get your questions ready. If you have any, if I don't answer them, please ask. I'll do my best. All right. Now, I'm not trying to rush, but diesel prices are down another almost 6 cents a gallon. That's it's down to a national average of 378.9. I saw it and actually bought it for 354 yesterday. One of the big reasons fuel prices are dropping is that Congress, well, I can show you on the news thing here. U.S. puts 1 million barrels of gasoline reserves up for sale. The Biden administration is putting its cache of 1 million barrels of gasoline on the market after being ordered to liquidate the reserves by Congress. The reserves was authorized in 2014, 2 years after Hurricane Sandy damaged the refineries and left terminals underwater, leading to some gas stations in New York to go without fuel for as long as 30 days. So finally, they're going to step up and get rid of this surplus. It's pushing the fuel prices down. All right, Operation Safe Driving Week. I'm going to hit you every week in this until July 7th. If you haven't ever been here before, you will get this every week until July 7th, and that's DOT Blitz Week. They are looking for careless and reckless driving dangerous driving by a commercial motor vehicle or around a commercial motor vehicle. Keep that in mind. I thought this was interesting, so I'm going to go ahead and post this. News. Which states have the worst drivers in the lower 48? Now, you know, I have my own opinion on that, being out there. So I think Pennsylvania is one of them, but they have their metrics on what they're causing, and most of it is DWI, deaths, that kind of stuff, and crashes involving distracted driving, cell phone use. All right, so let's go down through here. I think you'll find it interesting. All right, New Mexico tops the list of states with the worst drivers, while Massachusetts is home to the best drivers in the country. I would not have thought that. But, I mean, I didn't think there would be like 6 people in New Mexico anyway. So, just on the... All right, so 5 of the top states with the worst drivers are located in the South, including Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Kentucky, and Mississippi. 6 of the top 10 states with the best drivers are in the Northeast, including Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. Now that kind of blew me off the map. I would not have thought that, but there it is. All right, Mississippi has the highest total number of fatal accidents with 31.95 per 100,000 drivers. Montana has the highest number of drunk drivers involved in fatal accidents with 9.22 per 100,000 licensed drivers. And New Mexico has the highest number of fatal accidents involving a distracted driver. 10.16 per 100,000 licensed drivers. That's just crazy to me. Now, see, to me, I would think out in the middle of nowhere, like Montana or New Mexico, I would think those would be much less dangerous. Whereas New York, of course, now, that being said, let's think about this. And I just thought of this. The number of people per 100,000 drivers, that metrics is... Plus, up in New York City, where they're talking about, I would think that a lot of those would be taking the train and living in Manhattan, where they don't even have a car, but they have a driver's license. So I don't know how skewed that would make it be, but there you go. All right, top 10 states with the worst driving according to Forbes Advisors, with the worst drivers according to Forbes Advisor, are New Mexico, Wyoming, Texas coming in at number 3, Oklahoma coming in at number 4, Montana coming in at number 5, Louisiana coming in at number 6, Kentucky coming in at number 7, Kansas at number 8, Mississippi at number 9, and Missouri number 10. So there's your list. So while you're driving through these states, or if you're driving through these 10 states, just be aware that the people that are driving there with you are probably not safe drivers. So, you're going to be on heightened alert. All right, picture of the week. Look at me out there running loads. There's Bessie, and that is you put her on top of a building. It's a hydro deal for a chiller. It's a hydro pump situation for a chiller. All right, here's Robert with his. I wish he'd just drop that off at the house. I could find something to do with that thing. I'm just going to let you know. So, the next pictures with Nick. I don't know what those little go buggies are either, but those are pretty cool. They look like little mini cranes. I think those would be kind of handy dandy to have around. It's like I used to tell my son, I don't know what we need it for. We'll find something to do. So this is Robert again, loaded up with pipe. Good picture, Robert. All right, crazy shit you see out there this week. This is actually one of those Tesla trucks, one of those cyber trucks pulling a little dump trailer. I guess is he's going to pull it for another 100 yards and then have to put it in the dump trailer and have somebody come get the trailer because they don't have any kind of pulling distance or it doesn't have any weight on it. But they're out there testing them, trying them out. All right, under the hood, everybody's running. I'm running load, still running the van. I'm still fixing holes in the way the van's set up. We just got a set of shelves for the van out there. I pushed back on buying those shelves for a long time because just so you know, that's expensive as shit. And I was like, let me just try it without it. But then my floor got cluttered up and not really cluttered. It's definitely not cluttered. I'm not a cluttered guy. But, you know, there's tubs there with everything the way it should be. But, you know, it needs to be up. I got all that height. I need to utilize it. So that's what's going on with that. And here we are. We're talking about buying a used trailer. So, look, guys, there are a ton of used trailers out there. I have looked at a ton of used trailers. I actually looked at a couple auction trailers, and then because I could not go see them, I didn't bid on them. It's dangerous. Now, the reason why you should always consider to use trailers because of cost. You know, you have to look at a brand new one versus a used one and see if it measures out. Now, look here. Never buy sight unseen. Just don't do it because you don't know what it's going to look like when you pick it up. And if you send money on this thing with no refunds or whatever, sold as is, where it is, no, you gotta stop that. Number two is ask the hard questions and add the answers. And what I'm talking about is ask the hard questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You're there to give your money for their trade. So you need to ask these hard questions and make sure that, and listen to, after you ask, you listen and then let him talk or them, whoever, let them talk so you can try to put the pieces together on this trailer and you don't get scammed. All right. First question, excuse me 1 second. Just read this. Whew, had to sneeze. Sorry. All right, first thing you want to ask them is how long have you had this trailer? And let them tell you that. And then the next question is, well, did you buy it new? Because you want to know, has this been in one person's hand as long as they've had it? Okay, so if he bought the trailer 2 years ago and did you buy it new? Yes. Well, then now do you know the trailer ought to be 2 years old? So you can check the tag on it to see the build date. All right. Another thing is why are you selling it? Just ask it point blank. Why are you selling it? What did you use it for? That's a big deal. What did you use it for? How many miles has it been towed? Right, now think about this. You're going to ask this. This is a leading question. How many miles has it been towed? So if the guy's had it 2 years and he's telling you that he didn't use it very much and he's getting rid of it because he doesn't use it anymore, okay. Well, how many miles has it been towed? Oh, it's got 70, 80,000 miles on it. Okay. All right. Well, your next question needs to add up. What service has it had? And if he comes up and says, I've never done anything to it, I haven't had one problem with this after 70,000 miles, well, guess what? You're going to need brakes. You're going to need, maybe not an axle, but your bearings are wore out. You're going to need at least a brake service. So those are big things you want to ask. The next thing you want to do, and just so you understand, is that I don't have this on here. So you guys write this down because this is extremely important. Is you need to check the tag on the neck. And you need to check to see what the GVWR is for that trailer. All right. Now, the reason that is so important is this. If, for example, this particular driver is a non-CDL driver and he has a 40-foot rig with 12,000-pound axle, and he turned around and derated that trailer. You see where I'm smoking? See what I'm stepping in? If he derated that trailer down to 12,000 pounds, okay, to give him the 26,000 pound, if he derated it, that trailer's no good to you as a CDL driver because you cannot re-rate that trailer. Once it's been derated, no company out there right now, and they'll tell you point blank, they cannot re-rate it. That trailer is useless for a CDL driver. Don't walk away, run away. Okay? All right, so the next thing you're going to do, guys, is you're going to inspect it. And I mean inspect it. Bring you a sheet, bring you something to get on the ground because you're going to need to inspect it. All right, so as we go through this, you're going to stand back and look at this trailer. What to look for? Well, you're going to want to look for anything out of the ordinary from just standing next to it. Here's a prime example of, are the rub rails straight? This is a good indication of how the trailer was used, how it was abused, because that's 1/4 inch flat bar steel, welded every 12 inches. So you understand that's not bending with a bump. Something slammed into that thing, or he slammed it into that thing. Here's another one. Look at that. Look at what that looks like. This trailer has been abused. It's been beat on. So you can tell. I wouldn't throw it in the trash at this point, but you can tell right here there's issues. Okay. All right. The next thing you want to look for is you want to get up underneath of it and you want to look at the wheels and the hubs. Are the wheel seals leaking? All right. If the wheel seals are leaking and have been leaking, this one is a oil bath. If it's been leaking, there's a good chance those bearings are gone and that hub may be gone. But it's also a good indication of how the trailer was maintained, how it was kept up, how, guys, what you do one thing, you do everything. I believe that. So if he's sloppy on his maintenance here, he's going to be sloppy on his maintenance everywhere. What to look for again? Another seal leaking, but this is the front seal. I hope you can see this. This front seal is leaking, and it is leaked down onto the hub. Now, one thing you guys got to realize is that when you're driving down the road and you pull into an inspection station, if that hub is showing signs where it is leaking, they will pull you in for that right then and there. You have got to keep those hubs clean. You've got to keep those wheels clean. They should be clean, period. Because if it looks like it's leaking, remember in some of the past videos, if you give the bear something to eat, it's going to take a nibble and then it's going to eat you alive. So let's make sure we keep this area all cleaned up. And if you're coming up on a trailer to buy and it's already leaking here, you got problems. Climb up under it. If it's a spring axle, make sure the springs aren't broke. You see how those are? Those things have been overloaded and broke. This is also another good indication that he's trying to pass his problems off to you. And the minute you buy that thing, it's your problem. Okay. Now, you need to make sure, again, if it's a spring, you need to make sure these shackles are correct. If the shackle has flipped, like it has in this case, you've got to get that fixed. There's a reason for it. Normally, the shackle will flip when you hit a big bump or drive it in a ditch or something like that, and you need to get that fixed. So these again are indicators of how the trailer was used, treated, and maintenance. There's another picture of a flip shackle. So when you're under there and you're inspecting, look at the rust. How much rust is on? Is it pitted? Is it in bad shape? Is the frame about to break? These are the things you're looking for while you're up under here. Now you're about to drop a penny on this trailer, so make sure it's okay. All right. Now, while you're up under there, you look at the axles. Is the frame bent? I know it's hard to see, and I tried to circle it, but I couldn't make it work. But this frame has been bent. The bump stock has been bent and collapsed. Okay, if you look above it, it's bent. Now, what happens? How does that work? Well, I know what happened in this case. That was that Gator-made trailer that boy put 10,000 pounds on it and then run it in a ditch. That's what bent that. But right there, you can tell that that trailer has been misused. These are not off-road vehicles. Okay. All right. There's another one. It's the same picture, just a better angle. You can tell how the bump stock is bent. You can tell how the frame is pushed up. These are indications of overload, abuse, this kind of stuff. And if that's showing under there, you need to get away from that because that trailer's been beat on. And you know, I've got a friend of mine that bought a used trailer that had some of these issues. And let me tell you, he spent a mini fortune fixing it. It was bad. And he spent a ton of money trying to fix it. He would have been better off buying a new trailer. As much money as he spent on it. But it's fixed now and he's running down the road. So, all right, you want to look at the wheels. You want to pay attention to the wheels. Okay, this wheel is bent. It appears to have been curved. So this wheel is bent right here, and it has grass sticking out. On the right side, it has grass sticking out between the hub and the tire. That says it's been in something deep. Why it was heavy. Okay, so this is a good indication on, again, how was the trailer used? How was the driver? It could be just a bad driver and the driver can't drive. He tears shit up. But don't make his problem your problem. Okay? All right. Now, look at same thing. Look for anything out of the ordinary. Look at the electrical, all the electrical. Look back through there. A good indication of the quality of maintenance. You know, like I said a few minutes ago, what you do one thing, you do all things. And in this case, the pigtail had been pulled apart And instead of put back correctly, it was just a bunch of electrical tape wrapped around it. And it could be an issue for a DOT inspection. Again, you give them these little crumbs where they can see it, they will pull you in. And let me just tell you how little of a crumb. I have a fifth wheel set up in my truck. Well, with a fifth wheel setup, you don't need the chains. So I had my chains hung up, and it was Kansas. I was running through Kansas. The guy told me to pull over, bring my information. He met me on the ramp. He said, "Hey, your chains aren't hooked up." I said, "Hey, it's a fifth wheel." Oh, I just gave him the nuts. I said, "Everybody does it, man, but we'll see you." And I walked off. He didn't say I could go or anything. I just turned around and walked off. So all they're looking for is a nibble. Now, pull it or have them pull it. All right. Don't just look at it and not drive that thing down the road. You know, you want to look for dog tracking or signs of out of alignment. You want to make sure that all the lights are working. You want to make sure that the brakes are working. All right. Something else you want to make sure of here. I had it in my head and it walked right out the other side, guys. It was right there and I was getting ready to say it and then it left me. God damn it. Happens all the time. The older I get, the less I remember. So, but one of the other things is when you're pulling this thing, you make sure one of the big things is make sure this thing's not dog tracking down the road, you know, like you're going either way. It's dog tracking to the right, dog tracking to the left. That means it's out of an alignment, and there's a reason why it's out of an alignment. So we're going to be checking on that. All right. Air ride trailers, all ride trailers. This is what I was going to tell you a second ago. Also, look at your tires and your tire wear on this. Okay, that's not in here, but it needs to be. If your tire is wearing one way or another, those could be problems. All right, if it's got flat spots, understand that these tires aren't $49 at Walmart. You're going to pay almost $300 a tire for these things. So if you run your hands around the tires and the tires are flat spotted from where the brakes have locked up or the axle seized, the tire's no good. You get pulled over and get caught with a flat spot on your tire, out of service. Okay, so that's $300 right there. If all of them are like that, you've got 8 tires, do the math. So, yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Tires. All right. If you got an air ride trailer, you want to check your batteries. Make sure the batteries are okay. Find out, you know, either look on the tag on the battery or ask the guy when the last time the battery has been charged, because those batteries are about $175 a piece. You want to blow the bags. You want to let the air out, let the bag seat all the way down. You want to inspect the bags to make sure there's no cracks or, you know, dry rot or anything like that on them. And then you want to make sure the pump is working. So you flip the pump on and make sure it pumps back up. Also, while you're in the box, while you're in that box, inspect the wiring. So many times, Johnny trailer owner or Superman trucker hotshot dude will try to wire up something extra inside that box, and it just screws up everything. I had one guy's brake actuators failed on him because whoever had the trailer before wired up something to try to keep that battery charged, and it just screwed everything up. So after you inspect your wiring, you want to check for air leaks. Make sure once that thing pumps all the way up, you're not hearing air leaks. Make sure the pump shuts off correctly. Okay. All right. Now, oil bath axles. You see how this axle, I hope you can see it, but you can see how this axle is clean. There's no oil dripping out of it. it's just got road grime on the wheel. So that's a good indicator that everything's okay. But now you want to check the oil level in that axle, and you can do that through that sight glass. The other thing you want to do is ask the guy the date of the last oil change. And if he gives you that deer caught in the headlight look, and he can't give you a date when that oil was changed last, that's a red flag. You know, that if he's run that thing 70,000 miles and this never had oil added or oil changed, it's going to be a red flag. Guys, all a trailer is a frame and a couple axles. So if the axles are bad because they didn't service them, what do you got? So either be seriously negotiating, because those axles, if he can't prove somehow, you know, if he doesn't have maintenance records or can't prove when those things were dealt with, you know, again, like I said, get away from them. All right, if anything seems sketchy, if anything seems sketchy, if his numbers don't add up, if the amount of time he had it versus when he bought it, anything that's off, if it doesn't track right, get away from it. Just don't be afraid to say, hey, I'll get back with you, and let it go. Let that become somebody else's problem. Because if you let it become your problem, that's money out of your pocket. You're trying to find a good deal on a trailer. You're not trying to find a fixer-upper. You know, that's not a good deal. If you got to take a trailer, if you get a trailer 50% off, but you got to put 50% of new parts in it, you lost money. Okay, because you're down the time, all that. So, all right. So, what do we got next? I think let's talk about it. Do we have questions, comments, concerns at this point? I know that a lot of people have asked me about trailers this past week, and I wanted to absolutely get into it with what to do with a used trailer. Now, you know, with a new trailer, you can always take it back, but you're still going to have downtime, and they're not going to pay you for that downtime. So don't forget to go over your trailer well when you're picking it up, okay, even though it's new. So what we got? Christopher, any trailer manufacturers you would avoid and you recommend? All right. You know, PJ, I haven't had a lot of luck with the PJ I bought in 2021, 2020, something, 20, I don't know. Back then, they call them COVID era trailers, and I didn't have any luck with it. Bad welds, and it's like, I'm telling you this because I'm not saying they didn't take care of it. It took care of every problem. I'm just saying there was a lot of problems. There was so many problems they took my ACH information so they could just send me money. That's not a joke. I promise you. I know it sounds funny, but it's not a joke. They did. All right. So your lower end trailers are going to be your East Texas, West Texas. You know, those are going to be sort of your lower end. Your prosumer, what I call them, is your Big Tex and your PJ. And just so you know, most of these trailer outfits are all built by the same corporation. Same corporation owns it, and they just buy out everybody. Top of the line trailer, bar none. If you can afford it, you got too much money and you don't need to be in HOTSHOT. But is a Diamond C. They are a fantastic trailer. So you're gonna pay for it. You know what's $25,000-$30,000 on the air ride. All that's gonna be $50 on a Diamond C. It'll be twice as much. But now Gator made I think Gatormade's got a decent trailer, but they're expensive for what they are. I think the last time I talked to them, they wanted $35,000 for an air ride. I'm like, no, no. You can go back. I just saw brand new ones. Big Tex, PJ. I'm not going to knock either one of those. They're the prosumer. A lot of hot shots run them. I just had a bad taste in my mouth. The first PJ I had was wonderful. Second PJ I had was not so much. So, you know, I guess you can do that with anything. But I would, to avoid, no. Just to outright avoid them, no, there's nothing to avoid. Just remember to stay on top of your preventative maintenance, stay on top of your inspections, walk around your trailer. If you go with one of these, you know, prosumer models, you need to be on top of the welds, because the welds I got at the time I got them were not good. Okay, so I hope that helps you out, Chris. Now you put Christopher, so I'm going to call you Christopher. If not, come back at me. Did anybody see, or can you give me something else that somebody should look for on a trailer when you're buying? I say look at everything. You're going to look at welds. You're going to, especially when you crawl up underneath of it and you start looking above those axles. You want to be looking at that frame to make sure it has not cracked. That's a big one. You know, once to me, if the trailer has ever been run off the road into a ditch, to me it's total. The gooseneck on these things will not handle that kind of destruction. If it's empty, you might be all right, but if you're loaded down and you put that thing in a ditch, it's done. That Gatormade that we went and rescued, neck was off 1.25 inches. It had, when they tried to yank it out of the ditch, it actually twisted the neck and left it there, just like that. So there's just not a lot you can do with that kind of stuff once they've been wrecked. All right, Miss Mila, we got everything? We're good? Good for the evening? What's our comment? As a Louisiana resident, I will say the stats are pretty accurate. We have a lot of uninsured drivers around here too, and injury attorneys are. I've been through Louisiana, Dale. I know, man. They're everywhere. Those billboards. So thanks for the comment. We got anything else? No. All right, guys. We're gonna call it for tonight. Appreciate you guys coming in, man. I love having you here. I love talking to you. If you have anything you need to talk to me, reach out. We'll do everything we can to get to you. I'm kind of running around right now like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs with the van and the loads. So we'll get that van worked out, and then we'll be able to settle down a little bit. But yeah. Yes, thank you so much. Is there anything else? Okay, we're going to call it a night. I thank you so much for all you do and all you continue to do for us. We appreciate you. Have a good evening. Love your family because it's all you got. See ya.
Now today you say you call me on the